Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen AHMADYYYAH'S show. I'm your host, Queen AHMADYYYAH'S, and this is the second dose of your daily vitamin. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Queen AHMADYYYAH'S. You can also follow the Queen AHMADYYYAH'S fan page, and you can follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. All right, hello, LeVar, Louise, Lee, Eileen, Melanated Brown, Claudette, Susan. Jasmine is in the house. All right, Fight for Black. I see you, beloved. Nessie X, Calvin, Alvin, Cherokee Descendant Dale. All right, so let's get into it, Annie. With that all being said, shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuned into the Queen. All right, Sweet Great Mom, Just Biz, Rain Love, Cassandra, Yvette, Chris, Curious. Okay, Belinda, I see you. And so let's get it started, Chameleon. All right. And so, hey, Trail. And so anyway, honey, let me just tell y'all something. Now, I'm surely starting to think that venom is causing people to have pitiful lapses of judgment and to act out in quite foolish and nefarious fashion. You see, Jeremiah says, I'm black. All right. You see, why do these people keep trying Mike Tyson? Now, they're saying that some woman in Las Vegas allegedly picked Mike Tyson's nose without consent, no less. This is what I love you right, black, Matthew. I love you right, black, beloved. And so they're saying this woman done picked Mike Tyson's nose without consent. Yes, Fight for Black. Sloppy Joe did. He absolutely did. Okay? Alvin said, say what now? Honey, it's all so bizarre. I can't make this stuff up. All right? Boxing world in frenzy after Mike Tyson altercation where a woman picked his nose without consent. And so they say former heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson has been falling victim to blitzes from overenthusiastic fans over the past few weeks. The skeletons of Tyson's viral incident with a heckler on a plane show no sign of staying buried. Meanwhile, in what seems to be the latest addition to a probable annoy, a formidable heavyweight challenge, the champ found himself embroiled in yet another heated exchange with a fan. Tyson, who was in Vegas ahead of Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson showdown at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, stopped to pose for pictures with fans before leaving the venue. This was when a woman leaned over and put her finger across his face, almost sticking up his nose. In fact, it looks like she did. This action visibly disgruntled Tyson, who turned around to confront the fan. But she was quick to apologize for her actions, honey, because she quickly realized, I don't want this smoke. No amount of bags they can cash, that I can cash, is going to compensate for my rearranged face, no less. So she says to him, I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't mean to anger you. Now, however, security staff who were escorting Tyson were able to de-escalate the situation as multiple fans gathered around. The fan didn't face any repercussions for her actions, but the previous incident should be a lesson for fans. Unnecessarily prodding the baddest man on earth and on the planet, it could have some dire consequences. Now, the recent weeks saw Tyson being antagonized by fans on 2 separate occasions. However, a lot of fans sided with Iron Mike after these incidents. Honey, what is wrong with these fools? First of all, who puts their hand in somebody's face? Now, are they trying to tick this man off so they can grab a bag, honey? Because I'm going to tell you like this. You won't be able to cash that bag, all right, if he knocks you to the moon. That's all I'm saying. What is wrong with them? So anyway, Sweet Great Mom said she wanted him to smell what was on her finger. Gross. Gross, okay? Terry Hinn says, people have clearly lost their minds. I agree. Capricorn said, why would you sit there and try somebody? I mean, not just try somebody, try Mike Tyson, of all people, right? Make it all make sense. What has gotten into foolish people? I'm sorry. This is just not adding up. Melanated Brown said, damn. A whole Esther roll, right? It's all so crazy. And I don't know what's going on with folks, but they need to sit down and settle down, honey, before somebody gets punched into oblivion. That's all I'm saying. But so anyway, now they're going in on Jada Pinkett. All of a sudden, she's the angry Black woman because of the Oscar fandango. Everybody's coming out now. All these people are coming out and having so much to say. Pay attention, honey. All these former staff and current staff and all that, they're just talking about Jada and saying that she's, difficult. She's extremely difficult to work with, is what they're alleging. Now, I just find it also interesting that now everybody's coming out and has so much to say about Jada Pinkett. Please. Everyone get those likes up. Now, listen to this. Jada Pinkett Smith has become increasingly difficult to work with. She's extremely demanding behind closed doors. That's what it says. And shout out to Sister Lisa Cabrera for sending me this article, because I had not heard about it. And so they say, from trouble with Hollywood pals to staff behind closed doors, it looks as if Jada Pinkett Smith needs quite the attitude adjustment. While her bossy behavior may not be the result of the stress she's been dealing with ever since Will Smith's Oscar fiasco, where he slapped comedian Chris Rock on stage in March over a joke that he made at the Red Table Talk host's expense. An insider spilled some tea, saying she's becoming increasingly difficult to work with behind closed doors. In fact, they say Pinkett Smith has even had staff walk out on her as of late. Will and Jada previously kept household staff for many, many years with no complaints, according to the source, via the print issue of Us Weekly. They say, but within the last 5 years, Jada has become extremely demanding, and they cycle through chefs, security guards, and trainers. Nobody wants to stay employed for them because Jada's just simply too much. This is what they say. Now, meanwhile, it's not only Pinkett Smith's staff who have had it with her, according to an insider, clearly snitching. They say that Will Smith has been unhappy for years because Jada is impossible to please. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. Sounds to me like they're painting narratives at the end of the day. It sounds like, yes, Nebula says these people got it in for her now. Absolutely. At the end of the day, honey, here's the thing. They keep saying insiders and pals. I always get suspicious when they don't name names or, give you the source of the information. They're just saying insiders and pals. Honey, that could be them just making this whole thing up as far as I'm concerned. Saying that Will's been unhappy for years. How do they know this? How do they know this? Right? And though Pinkett Smith may be upsetting those around her, the source alleged that she's too focused on her brand to worry about anyone other than herself. They say Jada is ferociously ambitious. This is what a second source said to the publication. And they said she's going all out to make her talk show a success. In other words, they're trying to say she's clout chasing. Please pay attention. They said she's going all out to make it a success. They're saying she's clout chasing. Now, which occasionally she does seem to be. But anyway, they continue to say that the Red Table Talk is her top priority, and she doesn't have time to be holding Will's hand and acting as his de facto therapist. Pinkett Smith has often aired out the famous couple's dirty laundry on her show, and most recently teased Will to tell his side of the Oscar story on her Emmy-winning Facebook Watch series. She expects him to man up, stop moping, and pull himself together. This is what the insider concluded of the embattled A-lister who has been on the receiving end of backlash following the very public outburst. It's safe to say that Smith losing it at the awards show after the comedian made fun of his wife's bald head shocked the world. But to the world of the rich and famous, his outburst didn't surprise much of Hollywood, as he and Pinkett Smith have apparently been rubbing people the wrong way for quite some time now. I want y'all to pay attention to this bullshit. They said they've been rubbing people quite the wrong way for some time now. Who are these people of which they speak? Now they're acting like not only the staff is fed up and had enough. Enough, Will and Jada. Now they're trying to allege that other Hollywood celebrities are tired of them too. Pay attention, honey. The BS is wrought on this one, okay? Anyway, let me continue. And so they go on to say, the couple's peers can't stand them. I'm not making this up. They say the couple's peers can't stand them, claimed an insider. And so the slap ordeal has only served to deepen their disdain. And it seems that Pinkett Smith isn't the only spouse with high demands. On set, Will believes he deserves to have assistants at his beck and call. Luxury trailers and special meals catered all for him. The insider spilled the tea. He thinks he knows best, and he's not afraid to share his opinion, they say. Wow. They are really going all in. Are they trying to cancel Will and Jada? I'm so glad you asked. The answer is yes. They're trying to cancel them right before our very eyes, people. Pay attention. This is what they are doing. Said even their pals are fed up, honey. Even other Hollywood celebrities are fed up, have had enough, and that the slap only made it worse. Now the staff, ex-staff, and all that snitching. I absolutely cannot. One's in the chat. Buckhorse DC said, I'm done. Hey, I am too. Somebody come stick a fork in the queen, because I'm clearly done, right? And so, listen. Deidre said the Smiths must have told someone no. Okay? Something is going on, honey. What are they doing? This is also crazy. One's in the chat if you believe that Jada and Will have ticked off everybody. This is payback for the Oscars so white, says GL. You know what? I believe so. I believe so. All right, Capricorn said this is a bunch of BS. Claudette said, well, Jada started the mess telling her personal life. Well, she did tell a little too much. Then hold on. Who said this? Hold on. It said Jada. Hold on. I guess Dorothy says, I guess Satan is done with him. Rossmo says, right, Queen, she clout chasing, trying to see if she can get a bag. Wow. So let me say, Pearlie said, don't believe it. Fight for Black says, no, Queen. Let me tell y'all something, honey. This sounds like an agenda, and this clearly sounds like propaganda. I want y'all to pay attention, honey. They're trying to cancel these people. Pay attention to the verbiage. They said Jada has become increasingly more difficult. Isn't that what they started to say about Monique right before they canceled her? Isn't that exactly what they said? They said Monique was difficult right before they blackballed her. So now, here we have, they're blaming Jada for just being, they're making her into the Wicked Witch of the West. Oh, so crazy, honey. Desmond said, well, she should have known it was coming. Melanated Brown says exactly 100. There's no more room left for them in this in this hell yell on earth. Wow. So this is all so crazy. Terrence says there's a hidden agenda here. People are trying to blacklist them. Yes, that's what they're doing, people. That's what they're doing. They're trying to cancel them right before our own very eyes. Now, I don't know about you, But whether I love them or hate them, honey, what I'm not going to do is cancel Will and Jada. All right? Please dismiss me with it. Haven't other people done much more nefarious things than them? And they didn't get canceled. Now, why are they giving them all this smoke? And also pay attention to the fact that they're now spewing Will Smith's name again because this whole Dave Chappelle thing, honey, Will didn't have anything to do with that. That person did what they did because that's what they chose to do. Essie says, but I believe Jada put this stuff out there so people will not stop watching her show. She's looking for people to watch her show. That is what she's doing. Well, I believe she's trying to look for people to watch her show. I believe she clout chases in some aspects, like filming, recording Will without his consent and all of that. And, just telling a lot of their business. But Jeremiah said, hell, I'd cancel Jada. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, I don't think she's putting out that she's being difficult and hard to work with. I don't think she's putting that out. That's what they're putting out. They're painting a narrative here. That's what they're doing. But hold on, because I want you all to see this video footage of Jada Pinkett when she was on Chris Rock's show years ago, back in 1997. I want you all to see this because I'll tell you what. Bad marriage for life. Their words, not mine. Jada and Will said divine destiny. Absolutely. Jeremiah said the blood table talk. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to share this video, right? Of when Jada was on Chris Rock's show. I didn't even remember that Chris Rock had a talk show, but years ago. Now, I want y'all to pay attention because I will say this. Jada not only has on a witch hat while she's on this doing this interview, but I want you to pay attention to when she screams. Y'all can't tell me that that isn't the best rendition of the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. All right? Pay attention. Now, I'm not saying she's a bitch, but I definitely think she's a whole witch, okay? Please pay attention at it. Fight for Black said, let's go, Brandon. All right? Anyway, honey, let me roll the footage. Likes up, everyone like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Clearly nefariousness is going on right here. All right?
Guest tonight is starring the Nutty Professor. Set it up because he's currently seen in Scream 2. Please welcome Jada Pinkett. Jada.
What's that?
Got the big hat for me.
Well, I'm a little disturbed because your costume folks in the back put my little brim back.
Well, we want to see your face.
They pinned it back.
We don't care what you do on the Keenan show.
I couldn't give you the real pimp effect.
We want to see the face now. Everything's happening for you right now. You got Scream. You got other movies. What's the worst script you've been offered?
The worst script?
What's the worst piece of crap? You said, what the hell are they thinking?
Chris, I've had so many, I've had so many scripts sent to me that are just booty.
What's the one that just made you go, I know they didn't send this to me? Do they know who the hell I is? I mean, maybe they didn't say it like that, because I got a script. Disney called me up. They wanted me to play a monkey in the movie. I said, I'm not playing a monkey. You better go get a monkey to play your monkey. I don't know. All right, so forget the script thing. But you're doing a lot tonight. Scream, not because they kill black people quick in horror movies.
Real quick.
So, how long do you last?
Let's say, don't close your eyes, don't blink.
So,
don't blink.
It's kind of like a Tyson fight, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like a Tyson old fight, not the pre-bite mic. Now,
But you a trip.
old fight should be over quick. Now you know it's cool. We did a bit on you with that.
Oh yeah, I heard.
You at the million woman march. You went down to the Million Woman March. Now they had the Million Man March, and I knew what that was about because brothers was losing their minds,
right?
Doing all sorts of crazy shit. It's like, okay, let's get them all together and tell them you don't fuck around no more. What was the Million Woman March about? Because y'all see, because black women are all right.
Well, not really though. I mean, yeah, we needed to kind of get together and get an agenda. You know, it's like, okay, women, it's time to focus on our families.
An agenda. Yelling at us?
Right. Besides, it's like, all right, look, let's deal with us. Let the black man do what he has to do. Okay, let's focus on us for a minute.
Okay.
You know, and I mean, I just think that what the Million Woman March did is like, you know, I think sometimes we put too much focus on black men, and we really need to focus on ourselves and strengthen ourselves. You know? And that ultimately makes better men. You know, for real, girls. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. All right? If we ain't together, our men don't have a chance. Trust, okay? So that's what that was about.
Yeah, I've noticed a change in the street. Everywhere I go, man, that march really did something.
That's right. It was powerful. It was powerful. It changed my life.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it really did. And when they first asked me, you know, I was kind of like, okay, we're doing the Million Woman March. You know, I gotta be there. You know, I'm, the midget revolutionary. So I gotta do my thing.
I didn't see a lot of actresses there. Do you think more artists should be involved just politically and
I don't know. I know that I need to be more involved.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I can't speak for everybody else. But it also, a lot of people didn't know about the Million Woman March.
Oh, they knew.
It was on the DL, Chris. It was on the DL.
Well, a million women knew.
That's true. But you really, it wasn't really organized. It was kind of, people didn't know.
Wait a minute, women are always organized.
Well, it was organized. It was organized enough to get a million plus women there.
Men got organized faster than women.
That's true.
That's
true. I mean, hey, I'm just trying to make excuses. I was there, and let me tell you, I had a blast. I had a ball. Me and the sisters.
Did you catch any sales?
We had no sales. Black folks took totally advantage of that opportunity. It's like, this t-shirt costs $50. I was like, $50? Damn.
Were they selling like buttons and shit?
Oh yeah, they had a whole bunch of stuff.
I remember whenever there's some black rally or something, the buttons, that's it? That's it? Yes! You're not gonna believe this. Jada Pinkett, you win a bottle of champagne. You know why? Because you just did an interview without mentioning the name Will Smith. Without mentioning the name Will Smith.
Ryan says she got that Kamala cackle. I'm convinced after that scream and laugh that she's a whole witch. Okay? She's a whole witch. All right? Divine Destiny said, without Will, who is Jada? Earl said, Wicked Witch of the West. Absolutely. That's why I had to rewind it and see it again. Okay? Shawshana said, she's always been a fake pretender, C actress. Amari said, if only they knew. SMCM says, no, I can't take her fake behind. Sweet Pea said she screamed like she was melting. Betsy and that really took Will to the edge. Fight for Black got all these broomsticks in the chat. I mean, clearly that was a witch laugh and cackle if ever I heard one, honey. But I'll say this much. DeAndre said that screech. Exactly. Now, here's the thing, though. Hyena Pinkett Smith says Ren. Gail said, I like her old face. Honey, I do too. When I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, Jada was so beautiful back then, honey. Why, oh, why did she get those fillers in her cheeks? She was already beautiful, right? Anyway, honey, Denzel Coleman said, what's the video? It's a video from Chris Rock's old talk show from back in 1997, honey. I didn't even know he had one. I just came across this. Van said her love for Tupac took Jada to the edge. Let me tell y'all something. Speaking of that, y'all remember when Jaden Smith, he was on that show with Big Boy, I think it was, right? And he said that Tupac asked Jada to marry him, that he proposed. Honey, please stop. First of all, question is, why is Jaden Smith even talking about the fact that Tupac proposed to Jada? How does he know that? Why would she be talking about somebody that proposed to her when she's already married to Will Smith? Pay attention. At the end of the day, saying that she told him, oh no, we're friends. Honey, every time she talks about Tupac till this day, 20 plus years later, she still breaks down in tears. I'm quite sure if Tupac asked her to marry him, she would have said yes, okay? That's just what I believe. So anyway, Claudette said she told him that, yes, absolutely. Jeremiah said if Pac did all that, why was he with Quincy Jones's daughter? Exactly my point. All right? Exactly my point. All right, so anyway, honey, Jada's a hot mess. Now, but here's the thing. Like I said, they're painting her as being the angry black woman, saying she's difficult and all of that. And we all know that once they start calling a black woman difficult, that starts the beginning of the end of your career. All right? All these people coming out talking about she's difficult and all of that. So suddenly she's difficult, and they say this has been going on for the past 5 years. Well, here's the thing. If it's been going on for the past 5 years or the last 5 years, why hasn't anyone said anything until now? I'm suspicious. Denzel said, thank you for sharing, Queen Ahmadiyya. You're welcome, beloved. You're absolutely welcome. Willow wrote a letter to Tupac saying her mother would be happier if he married her. Yeah, I know. I saw that, right? Claudette says, Queen, you took the words out of my mouth. Honey, let me tell y'all something. Tupac's ghost in her mind still haunts her. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I believe it. And so anyway, I just thought that was very interesting. Very interesting. But what's even more interesting is how they're trying to paint Jada as being so nefarious. I mean, she is a whole handful for Will. I do agree. But so now they're trying to act like she's just treating everybody so low down and dirty. Right? It's all a mess as far as I'm concerned. And so anyway, with that being said, let's move on to the next topic at hand. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this video, honey. They say an elderly man went hunting and he found a dead child in a suitcase. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share.
I am a verbal host.
From a man who found the body of a young boy dead in a suitcase in southern Indiana.
The man was hunting for mushrooms near Pekin in Washington County, and that's when he found a hard suitcase, and you can see this print of Las Vegas on the outside.
As police are still now working to identify the body, new tonight at 6 o'clock, Tom Lally from our sister station in Louisville takes us deep into the woods where the man made that horrible discovery.
Jeff Meredith calls this place heaven. It's the woods outside his home. He says he can sit for hours every day and just watch it. But on one day, April 16th, he found something out of place. It was a boy, and now it's his mission to find that boy's name.
When I first saw that little feller, immediately I felt that he was telling me, help me. I need help.
It was late that Saturday. Jeff Meredith was out in the woods of his property looking for mushrooms.
And I decided to cross over and mushroom hunt on this side here. And I come up on the body.
The body of a boy. in a suitcase 80 feet off the road. Jeff thought to call police, but he told me he'd feel like a fool if they got there and it was just a suitcase, so he opened it.
It's wrong. God, is it wrong? In every way.
Nearly 2 weeks later, it's tough for him to get close to that spot again.
It bothers me, but it ain't about me. It's about that little boy that they threw away like a piece of trash. That's what bothers me worse than anything in the world, because I've got 5 grandbabies.
3 of them are around that boy's age. He's a proud grandpa who cared for his kids so that they could one day raise their own.
This is the blessing of life, to watch them develop into the little human beings that they will be later on.
One little human will never get to be more. Jeff's learning to accept he can't control that, but he hopes to convince someone to come forward with information on the death and, most importantly, a name.
He deserves to have a name, you know? Just like you and I, we've got a name, and we want a name put on our stone after we're gone. And he deserves that. So if anybody out there knows anything, please come forward. Because that little 5-year-old boy needs you now more than ever, to give him his dignity back to him.
I want to get you up to date on where the investigation stands right now. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is helping state police here in Indiana try to find out who the little boy is. State police have resources to help in the investigation, including a forensic artist who can do facial reconstruction. The autopsy did not reveal the cause of death. So investigators now are going to rely on toxicology reports to see if the child perhaps had any drugs or other substances in his body.
That is so sad. Who would do that to a child? And then just discard them like they were trash. Put them in a suitcase and leave them in the woods, honey. That is really awful. Really, really awful. And so meanwhile, Benjamin Crump's still catching his bags. Let's talk about it. And so no Black people have been killed by the police in the past month or so. So Benjamin Crump is finding other ways to get those bags. Pay attention. He files a lawsuit for mom whose son died in a tornado after being called off for work that day. And so they say the mother of a man who was killed in December when a tornado slammed into an Amazon facility in Illinois said on Tuesday that her son was only in the building because he was called into work that day, and that was actually supposed to be his day off. Saying that it breaks my heart that DeAndre was scheduled to take his day off, but was called from dispatch to work an extra shift. That's what Dion said in January, the mother of DeAndre Morrow. So January, hold on, okay. And so January, whose son was one of 6 people killed December the 10th, when the tornado obliterated nearly half of the sprawling facility in the southwestern Illinois community of Edwardsville, appeared with Benjamin Crump, who has filed a wrongful death lawsuit on their behalf, saying, "We believe the tragedy was completely preventable if Amazon lived up to its word." That's what Crump says. He goes on to say, hold on. Okay, they say Crump, a prominent civil rights and personal injury attorney, whose clients have included the families of George Floyd and more recently, the family of Patrick Loyola, who was fatally shot last month by a Grand Rapids, Michigan police officer. And those words, they say, and those words were, "We aim to be the earth's safest place to work. We are committed to ensuring the safety and well-being of all Amazon employees daily." Now, Crump in January were joined by several other people. And by the way, January is someone in the family, okay? Crump in January were joined by several other people, including 4 people who survived the tornado at the facility, and said they now suffer from PTSD, according to a report. Now, the press briefing comes after January's lawsuit, and at least 2 others have been filed. The lawsuits have alleged that Amazon required people to stay at work until moments before the tornado hit, and that the employees who died were improperly directed to shelter in a restroom that the company knew or should have known was not safe. First of all, why would you tell people to go take shelter in a restroom? That's really stupid, okay? Porcelain toilets or whatever those toilets are made out of. Can you imagine how heavy those things are if they're uprooted and hit you upside your head or something? That's just dumb to me. They absolutely should have known better than that. It just takes a little common sense. Now, they say because of Amazon's apathy and greed, I had to do what no mother should, bury my child. That's what January said, the man's mother. Amazon has defended its response to the December 10th tornado, saying after one of the lawsuits that it believes they acted properly. And just last week, the Federal Occupational Safety and Health Administration sent a hazard alert letter to the Seattle-based e-commerce giant saying that it had met minimal federal safety guidelines for storm sheltering and would not face any fines nor penalties. OSHA did, however, say that a number of employees couldn't recall ever participating in a severe weather drill or knew the location of the facility's shelter and had little time to prepare for the tornado when it was bearing down on the facility. Let me tell y'all something. Amazon was absolutely negligent because here's the thing. When you work in a facility like that, even when you work in corporate, they're supposed to conduct drills, okay? So that if anything happens, like a fire in the building, right? A code blue, like a medical call, a medical emergency. Fire is code red. Code yellow is a chemical spill. Inclement weather. If any of these things happen, you're supposed to have prior training and information of how to disperse the building and a designated area to which you should go. All right? This is what they're supposed to have done. And they obviously didn't do that because they said they've never participated in a severe weather drill, nor did they know the location of the facility shelter. Now, I can tell you like this. Having worked in corporate America, every place that I ever worked, they always had those drills, and they always had a designated place for everyone to meet after you exited the building, or if you had to go and shelter in place somewhere within the building in the case of a tornado or something like that. So the fact that they didn't, that absolutely makes them culpable for these people who died, okay? Absolutely. Not to mention, they are negligent also to have held those people there, knowing that the tornado was coming. Now, had they known that the tornado was coming, which clearly they did, they should have closed shop for the day. But they didn't want to lose money. Millions of dollars. They didn't want to lose it. All they had to do was close down for the safety of everyone else. All right? As soon as they found out that there was going to be a tornado. That's just crazy. And they're absolutely culpable as far as I'm concerned. Well, honey, I tell you what, if anybody's going to get those people a bag, it is definitely going to be Benjamin Crump. Because that's one thing that he is good for, securing the bag. And in fact, now as I think about it, maybe we should have Benjamin Crump fighting for those reparations. He clearly knows how to get them to cut those checks. Pay attention. Now, so with that all being said, let's talk about the corrections officer that I reported to you on, who left with the inmate, and they first thought that she was taken captive, but then they started to suspect that she was absolutely in on it and helped to organize the whole thing. So now they're saying corrections officer fired as officials don't really have a clue where she and the inmate have fled, according to the Alabama sheriff. And so they go on to say the Lauderdale County corrections officer charged with assisting an inmate who has been charged with capital murder has been fired from her job, according to Sheriff Rick Singleton on Wednesday. Now, while Vicky White had planned to retire, her termination will cost her state-funded contributions to her pension. Remember, she just applied for her pension a couple of days prior to the escape. And so meanwhile, the manhunt for Vicky White and the inmate continue. Casey White, that's the inmate, and they're no relation. Now, it moves into the 6th day, and the sheriff said law enforcement officials don't really even have a clue where the two are located. He said it's unknown if they're still in North Alabama or have fled for the border in an effort to leave the country. He says, we don't really have a clue. We were hoping that the vehicle would help us where we need to focus our watch. Remember, they found the vehicle near a wooded area, right? Now, they say the search has suffered a setback because information about the vehicle that Vicky White and Casey White were in, that the one that they were believed to have been driving was released to the public prematurely, they say. That vehicle is a 2007 rust-colored Ford Edge with an unknown Alabama license plate. Now, the sheriff said he assumed that with the vehicle identified, Vicky White and Casey White will find another vehicle to continue their escape. He says that flyer that was released was law enforcement sensitive and was not supposed to be put out to the public. And one of the agencies inadvertently, I guess, didn't realize that and thought they were helping by getting them that information and putting it out there. We had worked all weekend trying to get a vehicle identified, and we finally got solid information Monday morning. And so we were trying to take advantage of the other technology available to us and see if we could find the vehicle. We put the information out to law enforcement so they could be helping us look for it. And one department put it on social media, and of course it spread like wildfire. Singleton acknowledged a level of frustration with the premature release of the vehicle information, saying it sort of set us back on the investigation. But we'll just keep going forward and we'll eventually find them. The sheriff said he expected the identified vehicle will be found soon. That will help us because it will give us some idea of what area they're in. Are they still around here or are they down in Texas trying to get to Mexico? It will give us an idea where we need to focus our search, maybe. Well, I'm going to tell you what, those people are long gone, honey. They probably had planned this whole thing out for months. They probably already shaved off his beard, dyed their hair, and all of that. Clearly taking on a whole nother identity and everything. And they're probably already in Mexico as we speak. I mean, after all, it's been 6 days, right? Now, what they haven't said, which I'm still curious to find out, and I mentioned this to you before, is have they checked her bank accounts, credit card statements? Was there any large lump sums of money removed from her bank prior to all of this? I'd like to know, because you can't go on the lam without some funds. And that's just facts. I'm going to share my screen to show this surveillance footage. There's no audio. I'm going to tell y'all like this. She was definitely in on that, beloved. You see how she let him walk behind her? I'm sorry. Who does that? Especially since that whole Brian Nichols thing, when he overcame those officers, remember? The woman who was escorting him. And here's the second thing. He had on leg irons, shackles. Now, who took all that off? Who took all of that off? Who uncuffed his hands and ankles? Who took those shackles off? I'm so curious. Yes, Milk 35 said she was in on it the whole time. Absolutely, she was. M. Penny says he and she ain't gonna make it. She gonna play kidnap, cry Becky tears if she's still alive. Yes, when they get caught, and if they get caught, which I believe they will, she's absolutely gonna act like she was held captive. Just like when Charles Starkweather and Carol Frugates killed all those people, right, back in the 50s, and when even her parents, right? And so when they were caught, she said, oh, I was kidnapped. He took me hostage. I was afraid and all this, that, and the third, honey, but the evidence showed different. But I'll tell you what, she might just get away with it. A sweet great mom said it was supposed to be 2 officers. Well, here's the thing. Not only should it have been 2 officers, because he's a violent criminal, but at the end of the day, she broke protocol, not only by escorting him by himself or by herself, but she lied when she was leaving with him and said that she was taking him to get some type of medical evaluation, which was absolutely false. All right? So she's clearly in on it. Fight for Black said, I remember reading about that, Queen. Yes, absolutely. You know what? They're probably out there black fishing, people. They're probably out there in whole blackface, acting like they're some of us. Shaved heads or dyed their hair black, cut it low, whatever, right? Tried to kink it up a bit and got on whole full-on blackface, honey, riding around the country, you know, just going undetected. Pay attention. Why was she by herself with an inmate? Exactly. Nebula says she risked it all. Ladybug said Becky's going to say that he threatened to hurt her mother, so she had to do it. Let me tell you something. Lee Hart said, not blackfishing, Queen. I'm so serious. Think about it. They do that these days. Remember the guy who put on the whole blackface and acted like he was a black man when he robbed that casino? Remember the guy who put on the Derek suit and went into the bank and robbed it? There's numerous cases. Remember the man who wanted to kill his wife over the custody battle and he put on blackface and acted like a black person and went and did it? Y'all don't think they're riding around here in whole blackface looking like a couple of legit Negroes? Please miss me with it. I bet you they are. Sierra said probably have... Sierra said they probably have cornrows and all. Oda said jail is the new date now. Okay? This is all so crazy. Oh, Claudette said, what about the man that broke into the ATM machine? Right. I mean, they do all the sorts of nefarious and just act like they're one of us. Okay? Blame it on the black people. Right? A black man. It was a black man, like the little girl said. Okay? Please. Jeremiah said they have a whole prosthetic black mask. That they clearly pre-ordered. Yes. Y'all think I'm joking, but I'm being so serious right about now. I'm telling you, they're riding around here instead of looking like Bonnie and Clyde, right? They're looking like Queen and Slim. Pay attention. That's all I'm saying. Oh my goodness. Ladybug said, why hasn't her bank been notified if she with the withdrawal of her money from the sale of the house? So she sold her house? Are y'all serious? I saw somebody put that in the chat. I didn't know she actually sold her house. So that's even more suspicious. Honey, right? This woman that sold her house, applied for pension, and got the hell on, honey, with a whole crook. Wow. Trisha said Queen and Slim. Yes. Honey, They're probably out here acting like whole pro-black revolutionaries. Guaranteed. This is all so crazy, honey. I cannot with these devils. But anyway, let's talk about Derek Chauvin. A federal judge accepts Derek Chauvin's his plea deal, and will sentence him to 20 to 25 years. Now, the judge presiding over the cases of the 4 Minneapolis police officers implicated in the killing of George Floyd has accepted Derek Chauvin's plea deal and will sentence him to 20 to 25 years in prison. That sentencing range was laid out in the plea that was filed months ago, which also mentioned Chauvin would be expected to serve between 17 and a little over 21 years, assuming all good credit or good time credit. Now, Chauvin was sentenced last June after the former Minneapolis police officer was convicted of the murder of George Floyd in 2020. Chauvin has asked the Minnesota Court of Appeals to overturn his conviction. So I'm sure he has. At the federal level, Chauvin pleaded guilty in December of 2021 to violating George Floyd's civil rights. Based on the plea deal that was filed, this sentence would be served concurrently with the 22.5-year sentence tied to his murder conviction at the state level. That means he'll be serving it at the same time as the other conviction. Okay? In other words, he'll get out someday. And sooner than he needs to. Clearly. Because he never needs to. So anyway, honey, this is all so crazy. Now, here's your lifelines, folks. We're in danger of running out of food, and higher prices are coming, and the demand squeeze for the food banks is on. And so the swift rise in food prices has led Kay O'Reilly to hang outside her local Amazon warehouse in Virginia Beach, Virginia, to see if they have any extra eggs, milk, meat, or produce to spare. The visits are part of O'Reilly's efforts at food wrangling to make sure the chapel pantry at Eastern Shore Chapel Episcopal Church has enough groceries to provide for its clients. Now, these days, O'Reilly, the pantry's director, is seeing more folks in need of assistance, including many first-timers, as soaring inflation eats away at what they can afford at the supermarket. At the same time, federal pandemic relief programs, such as the monthly enhanced child tax credit payments, have ended. But the pantry is contending with higher costs and supply chain problems, which have made it much harder for O'Reilly to fill the shelves. The same is true at food banks and pantries around the country. About 65% of the 200 food banks in the Feeding America network reported seeing a greater demand for food assistance in March as compared with the previous month, with an average increase of 15% more people, according to the latest data from the nation's largest hunger relief organization. About 30% of the food banks said that they had served the same number of clients. Now, the share of food banks experiencing increased demand has more than doubled since December. Meanwhile, consumer price inflation hit a new 40-year high in March. Rising food and gas prices accounted for much of the hike. And so the cost of food eaten at home jumped 10% over the year ending in March, according to the latest federal data. Meat soared 14.8%, while milk increased 13.3%. Eggs rose to 11.2%, with fresh fruits becoming 10.1% more expensive. Rice rose to 8.6%, and bread, well, the cost of bread is 7.1% more. Now, food banks are buying nearly as much food as they did in 2021, but are paying 40% more for the purchases, according to Feeding America, which has more than 60,000 food pantries, meal programs, and partner agencies within its network. However, the organization is projecting that it will suffer a 20% decrease in donations and food manufacturers and a 45% drop in food that's provided by the federal government in the fiscal year 2022, which runs through June. They say we're in danger of running out of food. This is what Vince Hall, the Feeding America's chief government relations officer, said. We are doing everything we can to avert a major hunger crisis. The situation is prompting some food pantries to get creative. O'Reilly said she will harass the food bank of southeastern Virginia and the Eastern Shore, which supplies her pantry, to see when orders are coming in and going out. She'll text food bank drivers picking up vegetables, bread, and other items donated by big box stores to see if they received more than the pantries on their routes can take. Now, she'll remind her volunteers picking up donations at area supermarkets to ask if there's anything left at the back of the freezer. She said, I spend a lot of my time scrambling to try and have enough food, noting that sometimes the Southeastern Virginia Food Bank won't have rice, peanut butter, pasta, soup, or dry canned goods in stock for extended periods. That's why I keep telling you all, make sure you have those non-perishable food items, honey, because even the food banks are trying to stock up on those. Of course, that's what they usually give out, but they're running low. So make sure you're going to get these things, honey, while the shelves still have them in stock, because pretty soon they'll be bare. Now, she says, being out of something as basic as rice for 3-4 weeks at a time, it's just awful. You'll have one thing one day and then it's gone. You don't know when it's coming back. Escalating prices and reduced supplies are forcing many food banks to restrict how much the pantries can serve per order. For example, a case of canned corn now costs $26, up from $13 just 2 years ago. Wow. This is all so crazy. This has led the food bank to limit orders to up to 20 cases per pantry, down from 30 cases last year. However, the pantries may not receive the full order at times. Now, if supplies are even more limited, and if they don't put in their request promptly, they'll just have to go without. Raleigh recently checked the food bank's list and found that she could order only 5 cases of corn, though she needs 12. Also, she can get only 4 cases of pancake mix when she used to be able to get 20, and 5 cases of spaghetti when she actually needs 15. There are restrictions on other items as well. Honey, they have restrictions in stores too, like Sam's and Costco's. You can only buy certain amounts of things. Even with the baby milk, remember? They were saying that they were restricting the amount that you could purchase in baby milk. Getting real scary, folks. Pay attention. Now, while the pantry has a small stockpile of these items that will see it through the next week or two, O'Reilly doesn't know when she'll be able to replenish these things, saying the supply flow is tenuous and unpredictable, and that's what causes anxiety when they start running out at a food pantry where 300 families a week are counting on us. Some food banks find that they have skimpier lists of items than they can order for pantries, particularly when it comes to ethnic foods. Second Harvest Heartland, which serves much of Minnesota and part of western Wisconsin, has a hard time securing white hominy, a central ingredient in Central America, South American, and indigenous communities' cooking. And it has not been able to order plantain fufu and garu, staples of African meals. Since manufacturers and retailers are donating less meats and other proteins, the food bank is using grant funds to purchase chicken drumsticks, ground beef, canned tuna, ham steaks, eggs, and other items. Now, it has also increased the number of dry and canned beans, these options that it's offering to pantries to maintain the variety of proteins. Ground turkey, however, is not as readily available, so Second Harvest Heartland may not be able to restock promptly when its current inventory runs out. As for produce, the food bank usually stocks oranges every week at this time of year, but recently it has been able to get them only on occasion, and it's harder to find apples and costlier to transport them. But there are potatoes, carrots, tomatoes, and melons among other items in stock. They say we have food on shelves. I want to have food that people have and love on shelves, and variety of food and variety of proteins. We're not able to do that right now. And they say the amount of food the Second Harvest Heartland currently receives from the U.S. Department of Agriculture is less than half of what it had in 2021. This is also sad, honey. It's getting bad out here. And just so you all know, and they also said people are visiting the pantries more often. So Sweet Pea says the ground turkey is hit and miss at Aldi. And so here's the thing. Buckhorst said DC got a bad food shortage, but we gonna make it. Mm-hmm. Claudette said going to stock up some more tomorrow. I'm telling you, y'all better get what y'all can get, honey. Y'all better be stocking up all the water that you can, honey. I keep water. Even when I don't need it, I just go out and buy more and more stocks of water, honey, and non-perishable food items, honey. That's what you better do. All right? And so M. Penny says they are hating and sabotaging Black farmers. Haven't they always done that, in fact, right? And then tried to sue when they were supposed to get, subsidies and stuff. And so, honey, this is also nefarious. But I will tell you this, too. Deidre said Sheriff Karen took off his shackles. Of course she did. Right. Divine Destiny said, you see why folks are becoming pescatarians and vegans. Well, you know what? Fruits and vegetables are going to be equally as hard to find, if not more so. And so some of these vegans and pescatarians are going to have to, in fact, eat canned goods like many other people. And so it's just also nefarious, honey. But let me just tell you this. The police have said, law enforcement has said that there's going to be a spike in crime coming very soon. We all better get prepared for it. Be on the lookout for it because it's coming. More criminal activity. Let me tell you something, honey. I already told y'all that. I've been telling y'all that over a year now. Yes, there's going to be more spikes in crime. That's why I've been telling you to make sure you get your guns and ammunition and make sure those guns are cleaned and you have your licenses to carry so you can protect and defend yourself and your family. Okay? Because when famine ensues, people clearly will be desperate. So yes, of course, crime is going to rise, honey. Crime is going to rise. If you don't have a place where you can grow your own food outside, try doing things or growing things that you can do inside the house, honey. All right? You got to do what you got to do. Times are hard. Times are hard, honey. All right? Sergeant King said, QNN, Queen News Network. I love it. Not Queen News Network. Okay? Deidre said he's 6'8", 300 pounds, and Karen took him by herself. Make it all make sense, honey. Exactly, right? I don't think he's 300 pounds, though. He didn't look that big, but nevertheless, he's a whole killer. Cassandra says, I got a garden and a stock of seeds and water and non-perishables. Absolutely. We're going to need all that. We're going to need all of that, honey. And so, United States government giving Ukrainians, they smuggled into our America, and over in Ukraine, the money amount is billions of dollars. Yes, absolutely, honey. You already know. Louise said, damn, he's a giant. Anyway, with that all being said, listen, I'm going to conclude this broadcast, honey. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Christopher said QNN. I like it at Sergeant King. I like it too, honey. The Queen News Network. All right, we might have to change the name, honey. I love it. So anyway, with that all being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Honey, it's about to get real crazy out here. In fact, this may turn into the Hunger Games. All right? Pay attention. The Hunger Games, Purge, whatever you want to call it. Clearly getting drastic. All right? So anyway, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Y'all like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you enjoy the commentary. And make sure if you haven't given me a like on this video, give me those likes before y'all leave out of here. You know what? I'm going to start sitting here, and I'm not going to even start my broadcast until I have at least a half of the likes as there are people watching. All right? I'm going to start holding the broadcast hostage until I get what I want. All right? This channel isn't monetized. It's not like y'all got to pay the piper or any of that. You can at least like and share. Okay? And so with that all being said, I wish you all love, peace, and prosperity. Remember, do something productive and constructive, never destructive. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. And I hope to see you all in the next chat. Peace.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another Another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
AHMADYYYAH.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
AHMADYYYAH.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
AHMADYYYAH.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
AHMADYYYAH.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
AHMADYYYAH.